Hello, students. Welcome to this class, uh, State Board Class 10 English Literature. Today we will do this lesson, the three questions. A king had an idea. If he knew the answers to his three questions, he would never fail. Now, what we need to note here is that this king was really unique. In order not to fail in life, he wanted to know something. Now, this is sharply contrasted to the world, where the world feels in order not to fail, they need things in life. Things like maybe money, power, position. Yeah, so we need to understand this sharp contrast of having things versus knowing. What are the king's three questions? The three questions were: when is the right time to do anything? Who is the most important person? What is the most important thing to do? He issues a proclamation promising to give a reward to anyone answering his three questions. Many learned people came, gave varied answers. King was not impressed and rewarded none. King decides to go out and find the answers himself. Now, this is so very important. In case we want treasure, we can't ask somebody else to go and find that treasure and then promise that person that, when they give us that treasure, we will give some small reward. If they find the treasure, they will keep it for themselves. Why should they give us for a small reward? If we want treasure, we need to go out and find it ourselves. And this is exactly what the king realized and he decides to do. Now, he decides to go to a hermit who was widely known for his wisdom. So, if you see in the slide number 4, we have said that many learned people came, but the king was not satisfied. They were learned, they had knowledge, and the king was not satisfied. So he decides to go to a hermit who had wisdom. So we need to know there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge may not give the answers that this world wants. In order that the world may not fail, knowledge may not be sufficient. We need to have wisdom also. And that is what the king realized and decides to go out and find. Okay, let's see. King puts on simple clothes to meet the hermit. Now, putting on simple clothes is very symbolic of putting on an attitude. He's not just putting on simple clothes, but putting on an attitude of humility, of simplicity. This is the most important quality that we need to have meaningful relationships in the world of today. I think it appears, the writer not only written this story for his time, but maybe the writer was a visionary and knew that this is going to be in short supply in the future. So this is a message we are getting, that we need to have humility. We need to carry humility with us wherever we go in order to be really successful, in order to have really meaningful relationship with others. Okay, the king asks the hermit the three questions. So when the king lands there, he asks the three questions. When he asks the three questions, the king notices two things. He notices that the hermit is not responding, hermit is silent. He also notices that the hermit is weak and feeble, and he's doing some work. In spite of his weakness, he's doing some work. So these are the two things he notices. Now, what's very significant here about this king is there's always a tendency for us to pay attention to the thing that we need at the present moment. We usually don't pay attention to the other things. We are not aware of other things. For example, if somebody is waiting for a cab on the road, that person will be just checking the cabs, or which cab is free and can take him. After, say, 5 minutes, he gets a cab and he goes, and you ask this person, while you were waiting for 5 minutes, did you notice how many buses passed by? Did you notice how many rickshaws passed by? Did you notice any other students passing by? Well, there were, all these things were there, but his attention was not there. His attention was on the cab because that is the need of the hour, that is this present need. So, as human beings, our tendency is always to focus and put our attention on our current needs. But what's unique about this king is his current need was he wanted the answers, but he was able and aware of the surrounding, and he noticed what happened to the hermit. He was struggling. King offers to help the hermit when he sees that situation. Now, this is compassion. We need to be compassionate. Today, again, I think the writer has written this to tell us and was able to see that compassion also will be in short supply, and we're going to see less and less in the world of the future. And I think this is a really good message for us that we need to be compassionate. The king offers to help and takes the spade and starts digging himself. After helping the hermit, the king continues asking him the three questions, and again there is no response from the hermit. Now the king is, in spite of doing such a lot, he's not getting what he wants. So he's getting a little bit impatience. Yeah. So the quality of impatience, a desire to, see in this world today, everybody wants to succeed and succeed very quickly. We want fast results. Yeah, and we are seeing it here that the king was also maybe we all have our positives and negatives. Maybe this was maybe a negative. The king had positives, yes, but he was feeling that it is useless, wasting my time, and he was getting impatient. He wanted those answers quickly. Yeah. Okay, let's see. At that moment, a bearded man ran towards them. He was bleeding. He fainted. The king and the hermit helped him, nursed his wounds, stopped the bleeding. Soon he was out of danger. Uh, okay. The bearded man confessed who he was, what he wanted to do, was repentant, and promised to be loyal to the king. King's enemy turns into a friend. What we notice here is that before the king was about to leave, there was a bearded man that came, and both of them helped this bearded man, and he was bleeding. It took them a lot of time. And when that man was out of danger and he recovered and came to his senses, that man confessed. And what he confessed was, again shocking. He wanted to kill the king because he wanted to take revenge. But since the king did not return, he decided to kill the king on his way back home. But the king, as you noticed, did not return, and therefore this man was discovered by the king's bodyguards and was ambushed. And he was almost going to die when he ran away and came to the king and the hermit, who helped him and brought him back, brought his health back, and nursed his wounds. What we notice here is the king gets a friend. Now, it is very easy in this world to make friends, not a problem. But it is very difficult for an enemy to turn into a friend. And I think this is again the message that the writer is trying to give us, is that when we have an attitude like the king, then even the impossible can happen. Even things like this can happen, yeah? Something that we cannot think of can possibly happen. The king once more asked the hermit the three questions and was shocked at the hermit's answer. The hermit told the king that he was already answered. Okay, there is a spelling mistake in the hermit. Yeah, fine. Now let us see, why was he shocked and what was the answers that the hermit gave? The answers were like this. When is the right time? Now is the right time, the hermit told him. Why? And how did the king realize this? If you notice, when the king saw that the hermit was so weak and feeble, and he decided to help him, see, being a king, he could have gone to the palace and told, the hermit that you are very weak and I feel sorry for you. I'm a very compassionate man. Tomorrow I'm going to send help. I'm going to send somebody to help you. I don't want you to struggle. So he could have sent the help next day from the palace and he could have gone. But if he had gone, what would have happened? He would be ambushed and killed by that bearded man. But he didn't do that. He stayed back and he helped the hermit right now at that moment. At that moment, he helped him. And that saved his life. So this incident only goes to tell us the importance of the word now. Your life is in the now. If you want to do something, do it right now. And there's a very famous saying, that don't worry about the past and don't worry about the future. The past is dead, the future is not here. Life is in the present. Only focus on the present, focus on the now. Now, young people like you possibly could be very confused because your lives are all about the future, and possibly young people ask that how can we just ignore the future? Yeah, that is where we are and where we are going to be. So why do you tell us to ignore the future? But well, let me tell you a secret. The future is in the present. What you do today, what you do now, will determine your future, and that is how you take care of your future. Yeah, at your board exam, if you want to be the best student in the school or the best student in your city, then the time to study is now and not when the board exam starts. And that's one small example I'm just giving you. Yeah, so don't get confused about not thinking about the future. The present is the future. What we do in the present will determine and make our future. The next question is who? The person you are with at the present moment is the most important person. Whoever you may be with. You may be with your teacher. Be there 100%. Yeah, many times students are 80% outside and 20% in the class. Okay, I'm not trying to point out only to students. It can be anybody, anywhere. It can be elders. It can be even teachers, possibly. Yeah, it could be teachers. Yeah, we need to be present with whoever we are at that moment, 100%. And that is the meaning of who is most important. And the last one is what is the most important thing to do? The most important thing to do is to do good. We are all ambassadors of peace and love and hope in this world. We need to make this world a better place to live in. Yeah, to do good. We don't need anybody's advice, and that's why that those people who came, it did not work because everything is within us. Yeah, and this is what exactly the hermit was able to tell the king, that the answer is within you. Yeah, or what to do. It's only the hermit that showed him that. The king also learned that revenge is not the best solution to all our problems. Fine. So these are the main things in this lesson which I really wanted to share. If you like this video, please subscribe and press the like button because that motivates us. Remember, there is no charge for all this. It's absolutely free. So if you post any comments and anybody replies to your comments and then also asks you for any payment, please report it. Yeah, they could be imposters or trying to talk on my behalf, so that is wrong. So please report it. Report in case anybody is trying to even copy this video. We would be really happy if you subscribe because that motivates us and keeps us going. Thanks friends, till we meet in the next video.